Hello, hello. Hope you guys doing fantastic today. So the Legacy of Prisha event is almost upon us, and I'm hearing that many of you guys are concerned about the cost of Rathpith's Globe, the shield that is most likely going to be popular slash very popular in the upcoming event. So I'm here to address these concerns, and let's see what we can do before we can farm enough currency for the item. I'm going to use the not the leveling gear, the low budget, which is about 5 divines, depending on Rathpith, how much Rathpith is going to be. So what options do we have? First of all, if you as you can see, when I drop Rathpith on our build, we lose about half of the damage, which is quite a lot. That being said, right now, if you drop this build is like literally 2 divines, and I would say that having like about about 9 million Shaper DPS on this budget is still very good. Honestly, it's much more if you're gonna drop from Guardian Pinnacle boss to standard boss or just a regular monsters. This is gonna be at this point 13 million, so even more. But let's see what we can do to kind of mitigate it. All right, so first option that is going to be cheaper, much cheaper, that you could do is shield, also known as Light of Lunaris. Now, this shield provides us very high amount of critical strike multiplier, which we kind of lack on this build, especially on lower budgets. So what you can do is, I'm not sure how much this shield is going to cost in the beginning, but definitely much less than the Rathpith's. Definitely should be below 1 divine. I could be wrong. Correct me if for some reason this shield is expensive. I tried to check the rarity and the prices of how much you can get this shield for. It seems like it's quite cheap. 20-30 chaos should be its cost. But what you can do is you can put this shield on. At this point, we don't have really a lot of block. So additionally, you can invest into these 3 points over here. Boom. And you're sitting at the same time almost block capped, 65% block, and our damage went from. And also, have you dealt a non-critical strike recently? That's going to be up pretty much all the time. And this shield right now by itself gives us about 35% more damage. Very good option if you're looking to increase your damage a little bit and tankiness at the same time, because this shield has very high chance to block, and it's a great option before Iron Fortress. Iron Fortress will cap our block instantly. So with Iron Fortress, obviously you don't want these nodes anymore because they will not give you more damage or tankiness, right? But Iron Fortress compared to these items is probably going to be even more expensive. So although that is not necessarily true. I don't know. We just don't know how the prices will look like this event, so it's hard to say. But Light of Lunaris is one option. The second option is once you're done with the campaign, what you can do is you can find literally any. It could be, for example, pure ES shield, or it could be ES slash armor shield, which will be probably better. So hold on. Armor shield. I can't find it right now, but whatever. Let's just say titanium, right? And what you want to do is to add. Let's drop these for now. You want to spam essence. And what you're gonna do is spam essence of this one. Should be very, very cheap. Even in the beginning, they should be like probably 1 chaos at max 2. So probably you're going to get few of these, and you're looking for something like spell damage. Once you get spell damage, as you can see, spell damage actually adds decent amount of damage for our build because the spell damage is converted to attack damage at 1.5 rate. So for example, if you're going to find, I don't know, let's be realistic, 80% increased spell damage, that's going to be 120 attack damage for our build. So you're going to find something like this additionally with life, for example, boom, and add to build, boom, and this is going to be almost as good, actually if not better, because it will give you less block chance, but at the same time it will give you more life. And once again, the armor ES version is going to be better, especially with all resistances implicit, like Archon Shield or something like that. I forgot its name. So with something like this, you're totally fine, and it's going to be very, very, very cheap to get something like this. And as you can see, the difference between this, still extremely weak item, and for example, Rathpith is not that much anymore. It's not double damage. It's like this one is going to give you 40% more damage at this point. And once again, with this budget, I would say that this is devastating amount of damage still. The best part about this is also that you can get additional armor from that, so your physical damage reduction is going to be very, very high. The last option at this point is literally you can use shield that you found, I don't know, during campaigns. So just say armor shield. You're going to find something like this with, I don't know, some block chance, not necessarily armor, some low armor, some life, some strength, I don't know, something like this. And this is not going to be better than the previous one, but this will give you even more tankiness and much more armor. Also, it probably is not going to be too hard to find something like this. Shield like this should be 1 chaos very early, I would say. So you can do something like that, and your damage is going to go down a little bit because no spell damage, but your armor is going to be very, very, very high. Obviously, it will be even better if you found something like +1 resistances. That's going to be even better, right? But these are the main options that you have. Probably this one being the best. Light of Lunaris is okay, but probably this one is going to be the best if you're going to find nice Archon Shield with spell damage. That's the best part about this, right? We have spell damage to attack damage conversion, so actually spell damage items give us more damage than, you know, any attack damage cluster or whatever you want to, you know, look for. So that's about Rathpith's Globe. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that some small upgrades that you could do to different versions. So let's jump into the regular version. So this is going to be about 20 to 25 divine budget, more or less. This is with Iron Fortress and Crown of Ice. Also, some Awakened gems, not too very expensive. No Awakened multi-strike, of course, but this is probably going to be around 20, 25, 30 divines, depending on how the prices will fluctuate. What you can do is you can drop this Fortify cluster, add a cluster jewel over here, large cluster jewel. We're going to do maces. We're going to do weight advantage, overlord, and martial prowess. This is not going to be very cheap, but as you know, as I mentioned, this is going to be an upgrade that you'll be looking for. You can do something like that, and with Overlord, you'll have basically what you get from the Fortify Mastery. So permanent Fortify from Overlord. Additionally, you have weight advantage. You can allocate this, a very strong node. You can allocate this, or you don't have to. Then you put jewel sockets in here, and you drop additionally, let's just say, this cluster over here, because we don't have accuracy problems anymore because we have additional martial prowess. And what that means that not only you have one additional point now to spare, you have, let's just say, use it over here, right, for 6% increased life. You have more damage, more attack speed, which is very important, more life, more armor. Life is good, right? And all you did is this one cluster jewel, which is a cluster like that should be probably 5 divines or something like this, but it doesn't need to have weight advantage. It could have something else. It's like the thing is, you need to understand and remember is that if you're going to change weight advantage to, for example, I don't know, fuel the fight, then the locations of these are going to change a little bit. Now fuel the fight is here and martial prowess is here, which means that you will lose that accuracy once again. But it's not really a big deal because, as you can see, you still have 97 against Pinnacle Boss at level 100. So you still pretty much have 100% chance to hit, so that's not really a problem. And at this point, you know, this is still 10% more damage with more life, more armor, more attack speed, more everything, right? So one small upgrade that you could go for. And I bet there is more because I started working on these builds, on these all variations and builds only a little bit ago. But this is something you can do. The last thing I want to show you is the build I'm going to be going for that I made. You know, at the very end game, after I will, like, you know, super max my Paladin. This is a tri-stack aristocrat, which is like a gemling from PoE2 basically. This character will offer absolutely devastating defensive flares while having very, 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 very high damage at the same time. That's actually a lie. I have 11 projectiles. Yeah, the character is, I don't want to say like an aura slash tri-stacker, but I kind of try to mix both of these things. Tri-stacking to utilize this node from Aristocrat to the absolute maximum. So from this, we're actually right now getting 819 increased damage. And also, I try to stack a little bit of aura effect to get armor and evasion at the same time from Determination and Grace. Then this gets converted to pure armor thanks to Iron and Reflexes. And at the same time, we are utilizing Aegis Aurora. With this amount of armor right now, I could still modify this build a little bit and get more. But with this armor right now, we have 65% block chance, spell block chance, 100% spell suppression, and on every block, I recover back almost 8,000 ES. On top of that, we have other defensive flares, like for example, Permanent, 6 Endurance charges, thanks to Grand Spectrum. Permanent, 3 Frenzy charges. The build is non-crit, so, you know, pesky modifiers like you can't crit, I mean, less crit chance or something like that, or monsters that you can't crit, they will reduce damage from crits, don't affect you. Once again, you can, for example, increase your armor even more if you invest into this. That will give you additional 120,000 armor, which is something you could do. The build, generally speaking, is like insanely tanky. I had a similar version of this on a jug back in that was Necropolis League, and while doing tier 17 maps, it was completely invincible. I was doing some crazy modifiers, and the ES was just like permanently, like, you know, topping off because of this armor and recovery from Aegis Aurora, right? On top of that, Nimbus, of course, I would say that DPS with Nimbus and Awakened Ancestral Call on Molten Strike on this build is something that you could call deep delve viable, maybe. It's getting into this category, and what you could also do is you could pretty easily, without major issues, get to 90 all res if you wanted to make that a deep delver. With 90 all res, you would be sitting at some ridiculous max hit at this point, and you would be laughing at Uber bosses, and possibly you would borderline never die while deep delving at the same time. I wouldn't call that necessarily a Valdo map ready build, but maybe with some improvements, if I'm going to make, we're going to reach the point where this build is actually going to like destroy all the content in the game, minus the most insane Valdo maps, because for these maps, you just need something like just insanely broken, and like, I don't know, like 100,000% more damage multiplier on Mana Forge arrows or something like that, right? This is what you need, right? Or some like insane 10 mirror, 15 mirror investment into like some stacking build. This is nowhere near as much. This is probably around 800 divines. So for 800 divines, 700 divines, something like that, this build, I would say, is going to function insanely well. So I'm going to link the POB for this build in the description for someone if you want to try to build it in the future as well. And I'm going to stream tomorrow. I'm not going to stream today. We have the start of the event in 2 hours 15 minutes. I'm going to stream tomorrow all day and every day. The stream link is down below in the description if you want to join and see how the progression of the Paladin, the Holy Fire Paladin, is going. Please feel free to do so. I'm also going to be extremely interested how you guys will be doing with this build as well, the people that decide to go for it. And yeah, I'll be doing that. Best of luck. I wish you many divines. T0 drops day 1, and see you guys in the next video.